we come from. Oh my gosh. And you would like to know how to answer your grandchildren.
You already are.
And so now you've been studying the physics and you need to inform your child, are you going to grow up and become a star? And as an electrical engineer, I'm convinced the answer is yes. So I think it's helpful to be able to tell the story properly to your children. And your children want to know, then their second question is, are angels for real? Now, you're an astrophysicist dad and you want to give a correct answer to your child from the point of view of astrophysics. Are angels for real? And so we have a once upon a time little story here. First, the sources of this story, originally I set out to interview and come to know personally as many of the people who were teaching the ET history on Earth as possible. And I was personally befriended by people like Alex Collier, lettersfromandromeda.com, and Robert Morningsky, the Hopi author. Alex Collier's book, The Andromeda Material, was called Defending Sacred Ground, and we lived together in Golden, Boulder, Colorado. Who's the Golden? Yes, yes. And then Robert Morningsky was in Phoenix. Remember, his Hopi ancestor had told him the ancient dragon stories, and his book is called Guardians of the Grail. And of course, I was very much involved in Sitchin material and Lawrence Gardner material, and basically dozens of sources of the extraterrestrial origins of our DNA. Very much including less known William Buehler, the Templar expert. I showed you his Archon Templar star maps yesterday we saw from Crestone. His website, goldenmean.info/Buehler, we do. And so I had the Templar part of this story. They call it the orotronic versus the Metatronic grid, right? Which is parallel to this. And then, of course, I guess you could call it a fragment of the soul memory of the lifetime in the family of Tutankhamun Akhenaten. It's true. In my memories, for example, when I was in Egypt, particularly in the gold sarcophagus of Tutankhamun, where I had a swoon experience, and so many of the memories begin to come back, obviously. So, when you ask me what are my sources for this story, what I did is, and by the way, I came to interview lots of people doing the extraterrestrial stories of the UFO people, and knew a lot of those people, including contact from Reticulum, Oliver Wendell Stevens, and I knew Andrei Puharich very well, about whom Aquarian Conspiracy and the Nine story is written, who, like the author of Star Wars, and like Hoagland, and they all studied, as Puharich did, under Phyllis Schlemmer in the UK, where they had developed a pretty detailed story of the Orion history, which eventually pretty much became the Star Wars story. So, and the Aquarian Conspiracy documents that. And by the way, the admitted author of the Nine, who were speaking to Puharich, and that whole group, they call themselves Tom, but later they realized it's Atum, which basically means Enki, which is going to become one of the heroes in our story. So the pieces began to fit together for me. In fact, they fit together so good that I felt that we really became to understand the part that Zecharia Sitchin missed. So we're going to assume a little bit of the knowledge of the Sumerian story of Zecharia Sitchin and Lawrence Gardner's work, which expands upon Sitchin nicely, and we're going to try to develop a little bit more of the extraterrestrial context at the time, so we understand, and obviously this is too big a story to tell in a couple hours. However, we're particularly focused on the part of our story that concerns a genetic disaster, the fall called NEPHILIM. So what we're trying to get at here, particularly our focus, is the historical context of the mistake that led to a genetic disaster called NEPHILIM. That's our interest. Because one of our main reasons for telling this story is to fix a genetic problem called NEPHILIM. We know the symptoms of the disease of the NEPHILIM. The symptoms, again, loss of long-term memory, loss of ability to take memory through death, inability to die, loss of ability to radiate a charged immune system, loss of ability to lucid dream. These are some of the major symptoms of this genetic disaster. In their terms, it was loss of ability to use your blood to star navigate, literally, to steer the spacecraft. I mean, if, you know, a guild navigator in Dune floating in the liquid gold powder, that's what they lost. So, loss of ability to be a star navigator, literally, and I mean that in electrical terms, and this means loss of money. Quite simple. So, you know, the genetic problem was serious, and we're interested in the history of that genetic problem because that is the story of Earth. Largely, the story of our gene pool is the recovery from that issue. So we're telling the story in part to get motivated to take action on the genetic hygiene. That's one of our main reasons. So we're a little bit focused on the DNA history. That's why we call this story the ET origins of DNA. So, once upon a time, as we were saying, there were two families of angels. And yesterday we dealt a little bit with the science of angelics. Remember, we showed how the Ophanim-Enochian alphabet from John Dee, which became Golden Dawn and Greek and Cherokee, that alphabet, which is the highest form of magic on the planet, I have personally seen it used to call storms the size of continents. And what we know is those electric fields are plasma fields the size of stars. And that's what an angel is. It's quite clear. And the symmetry elements, remember we saw yesterday in the Ophanim-Enochian, the origin of the movie Stargate was Ophanim-Enochian. And that alphabet was a sequence of electric field symmetries to make the Stargate. What is that? We now know in astrophysics that the size of a galaxy, the size of the black hole is an indicator of the size of the galaxy it inhabits. In other words, the black holes that now we know inhabit most galaxies indicate the size of the galaxy and are therefore fractal too. Hello. Yes?
Can you do something extremely basic? Could you actually describe to me or to us what a black hole is and what its purpose is or anything about a black hole?
In conventional physics, a black hole is when the gravitational force, which we now know is caused by phase conjugate fractality, when the gravitational force becomes sufficient that even light cannot escape. Essentially, that's a simple definition of a black hole. And it means that gravity has become so great the charge is imploded and accelerated and goes somewhere. Bye-bye. And physics is only speculating where it goes. I think it's clear the charge goes through the speed of light, actually, and that there's a connective topology here, and that is part of the story we're about to tell. In fact,
so, you know, just again, a black hole in layman's terms is, and they detect it because it starts to just suck in everything that comes too close to its field, it just gets sucked in.
Yes, and
black hole.
Yes, that's right, and even light.
It's radiating out energy, it's just sucking in, and as that gravitational force is so strong that no light can escape. That's why it's called a black hole.
Okay.
So it's anti-gravity, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So it attracts all matter. Say there's
Yes.
a black
When you
hole.
get too close to it, you're sucked in.
Is that what happens to you?
The physics doesn't know.
Bentov is interesting. You know, he's got love. You know, that cosmic comic book is lovely to get because he's got these lovely pictures of a black hole. You know, he's sucking in energy, and then, you know, as Dan's going to describe it, I think. I don't want to take your thunder here, but you know, and then boom, it comes back out into the, you know, the other the alter universe. Well,
So physics is saying we don't know, but we have a lot of speculation. I'm also speculating with what we know about spiritual literature that this is a donut field that goes through the speed of light into time travel called the Time Lord, and this is what the body of an angel is.
It's a time lord.
Basically, once you go through the speed of light, you're going to have to go faster than we do around the sun. You're going to get here before we get here next year, which means you inhabit time. And if that time is also fractal, then you survive. This is why the repair of the fabric of time, effectively, the rotation that we call time needs to be fractal also in order to be a living body. Physics doesn't understand that yet, but we think we do.
Although it seems to me that Einstein's one of the minds always say, the joke to the stand for the God, there is no time and space.
Say again?
There is no time or space.